Good morning. I'm Joginder Rana. So, product of the day is deterioration of stock insurance. Deterioration of stock insurance. In short, we call it DOS insurance. This is one general insurance product that is still part of engineering insurance line. Is DOS insurance. As the name implies, this type of insurance provides protection to insured against risk of financial loss that may be suffered in connection with the occurrence of spoilage or damage to goods, that is stock, stored in cold storage. So there are two types of risk that are usually covered in the deterioration of stock insurance policy. Firstly, fluctuations of temperature in cold storage concerned as a result of following conditions, that is collapse or death of part or parts of the cooling machine while cooling machine is running, starting, that occurs either because of a defect in the machine that causes the machine to stop suddenly and needs to be repaired or replaced with another machine before the machine can work or function normally again. Next condition is damage to refrigeration equipment due to a sudden cause, except fire, lightning strike or explosion, flood or puddle. The next is the condition where the damage or interruption of electricity supply supplied by the official electricity company due to a cause that occurs suddenly outside of the intentional action by electricity company. So second type of risk that is insured is risk of loss due to the influence of steam, smoke, drugs, coolant, spilling out of cooling machine, whatever they cause. In addition, deterioration of stock policy also ensure reasonable costs incurred to prevent loss or damage as a result of the deterioration of damage to goods. Such as cost for moving the endangered goods to another cold storage. So there are three parties that can be insured under a DS policy, namely first owner or operator who is also owner of cold storage. In case that goods stored in the cold storage are the property of owner or operator of cold storage. Second, owner of goods or stock stored in cold storage. In the event that owner of goods are not owner of the cold storage, and third, owner or operator of cold storage, owner of goods stored in cold storage. So in the event that owner of goods is not owner and or operator of cold storage, in this case all of the parties are just joint insured and the responsibility of each party are no longer substituted. So claims on a DOS policy are paid based on value of items listed in monthly declaration prior to loss or selling price that can be obtained for items included in monthly declaration or whichever is lower. So furthermore, proceeds obtained from sale of these goods as well as storage, costs that can be saved due to a termination of storage of these goods will reduce amount of indemnity. Like machinery breakdown insurance, deterioration of stock insurance is usually also held for a period of 12 months, means on an annual basis. For divorce insurance coverage, insurers usually require insured to pay deposit premium based on a certain percentage, usually 75% of sum insured stated in the policy schedule. And at the end of coverage period, an adjustment will be made to premium based on copies. So from a stock book or based on a monthly declaration submitted by insurer to insurer, insured to insurer. With this adjustment, it will be known whether the insured still has to pay an additional premium or is otherwise entitled to receive a premium refund from the insurer. So the determination of sum insured for the goods or stock, insured must be equal to estimated selling price that can be obtained for goods stored in cold storage during policy period. Because estimated selling price is listed by insured in list of plans submitted to insurer before insurance starts to run. Meanwhile, the insured is obliged to deliver to insurer sometimes after expiration or expiration of each month copies of stock book or declaration showing amount and average daily value of goods or stock stored during the previous 1 month monthly declaration. So monthly declarations are based on selling price that can be obtained for declared goods. With this declaration system, average provision does not apply to sum insured. So divorce insurance policy also applies a deductible or excess provision, which is a part of loss or claim that must be borne by insured in each claim for each incident. Just like other engineering insurance policies, divorce insurance policy also has 4 exceptions. Namely, first, losses or liability as a result of deterioration of spoilage of goods in cold storage. For example, claim for loss of market, that is loss of market price, and claims for third parties that suffer from poisoning after consuming contaminated food. Second, loss or damage to goods in storage caused by war risk. Third, loss or damage to goods in cold storage caused by nuclear radiation or radioactive contamination. Fourth, loss of or damage to goods stock held in cold storage caused by fire, lightning strikes, falling aircraft or objects falling from aircraft, theft, flooding, puddles of water, inundation, earthquake and volcanic eruptions. So special conditions stipulated in this divorce insurance policy include cooling machines in cold storage, where the insured stock must also be insured under machinery breakdown policy, which is valid as long as deterioration of stock insurance is valid, without questioning which insurance company. So issuing is an MB policy or who is the guarantor. So furthermore, underwriting considerations when accepting divorce insurance include conditions of cooling machine, installation of an alarm system, readiness of cooling machine, maintenance of cooling machine, cold storage machine maintenance, cold storage repair facilities, classification cold storage, classification of goods, standby cold storage location and cold storage age. Now, General regulations of the policy says no policy to be issued on first class basis, no policy to be issued with a bonus clause. Excess amounts are minimum and cannot be eliminated by payment of additional premium. Cold storage located outside India shall be out of the jurisdiction. So for a single risk, different policies shall not be issued for different compartments. Rates and access for compressors for the compressors of size falling between two consecutive slabs provided in the guidelines, the rates and access applicable for the higher slab shall be applied. Then DOs cover due to breakdown in the standby diesel generator sets. This cover can be granted only to those cold storage which have opted for the FOE's extension. Means failure of electricity supply, that is called FOES. So in all such cases, the insurers shall ensure that DG sets are of sufficient capacity and are properly maintained. Insurers shall inspect the risk for its capacity and maintenance periodically, particularly before acceptance of the risk and its renewals. Cover for deterioration of stock due to breakdown in the standby DG sets cannot be granted to those cold storage which have not opted for the FOES extension. The standby DG sets are put into operations only at the time of failure of public electricity supply. And in the event of a breakdown in the standby DG sets, the parallel trailing force will be FOES and not the breakdown. Definition of cold storage means new cold storage. The new cold storage means the cold storage proposed for insurance for the first time. The date of construction is not material. New additional chamber to the existing cold storage means definition of new cold storage given above will apply to new additional chamber also, unless the cold storage owners produce a certificate of prior insurance. The new additional chamber will be treated as new cold storage and rates, terms and conditions of new chamber to the old cold storage will apply. Existing cold storage means existing cold storage presented for insurance, not for the first time. The date of construction is not material if the insurance is transferred from one company to other on renewal. The company accepting transfer business will have to make sure that the insurance was taken by the insured with the previous company for the previous year. So for the purpose, the cold storage owner will have to produce a letter from the previous insurer that cold storage was insured during the previous season with such and such insurance company. So a single statement giving policy number and the name of the insurer is not enough. If he fails to produce such a letter, it will be taken that the insurance is taken for the first time, and rate, terms and conditions for a new cold storage will apply. So a cold storage which was already proposed for insurance a couple of years back but was not insured for a period of 1, 2 or 3 years, that is, there was no continuity of insurance, and comes up again for insurance, should be treated as new cold storage. As far as declaration policy facility is concerned, policy on declaration basis are permissible on the following terms and conditions. The facility will be available to the insured in case value of the stock based on maximum capacity of the cold storage is more than rupees 50 lakh and period selected is 12 months. So for period lower than 12 months or for some insured less than 50 lakh, no declaration facility will be available. The insured shall submit fortnightly periodical declarations. The field officer or the branch official shall ensure that the periodical declaration and logbooks are sent to the insurer within 15 days at the end of each fortnight and subsequently immediately stamped and recorded by the insurer. So the premium for each month shall be calculated on value of maximum stocks held on any single day during the month. The premium for the total period shall be computed on this day. On this basis, in case the insured fails to send periodical declarations, he shall forfeit right of declaration facility and no premium shall be refunded. So machinery insurance policy issued to cold storage can be endorsed to include electrical fire risk without charging any additional premium. Rack structure collapse is not a machinery breakdown risk and hence should not be covered under DUS policy. Explosion risk, if any, in the equipment should be covered under the fire policy and not under a DUS policy. The gross minimum premium per policy shall be rupees 1500 or 60% of the premium, calculated on the basis of the capacity of the refrigeration plant and at the above rate, whichever is higher. So the minimum premium is gross premium and agency commission or discount in lieu of agency commission can be allowed from this gross premium. Refund of premium for mid-term cancellation of policy, the premium to be retained by the insurer shall be 120% of the tariff rate for the period for which the risk has run, subject to minimum of 7 months premium. So before granting a 4 years extension under DUS policies, it should be made sure that power supply is available for a minimum period of 16 hours per day to the cold storage, which seeks a 4 years extension. But the insured should have 100% capacity to run the cold storage through DG set or oil engine. MB and DOS policies must be with one office only. In case extension of policy period is desired during the currency of the policy, the rate applicable for such extension period shall be the monthly tariff rate loaded by an extra 25%, which should be applied on the balance sum insured as on the date of expiry of the initially selected policy period. So the DOS proposal for storage items other than potatoes such as meat, vaccines, ice cream, etc. may be decided by insurer themselves. So the DOS cover with a 4 years extension cannot be given to a cold storage which does not have a standby DG set or oil engine coupled to compressor. So this DOS insurance cover damage to goods stored in cold storage due to a number of reasons including temperature changes, damage caused by a rise or fall in the temperature, refrigeration equipment, that is damage or breakdown of refrigeration equipment, public electricity, failure in the public electricity supply, or refrigeration gases, escape of refrigerant gases. So DOS insurance is important for owner of cold storage houses, tenant of cold storage houses, manufacturer and processors of agriculture products, meat and fish processing industries, food preservation industries, chemical and pharmaceutical industries. So the DOS insurance covers damage to goods stored in cold storage due to a number of reasons. Our deterioration of stock in cold storage insurance is designed to meet the requirement of those who want to insure themselves against deterioration of goods in cold storage due to a breakdown of refrigerated machinery. Two different methods of preservation include cold storage under freezing condition and cold storage under cooling conditions. So in the case of cold storage under cooling conditions, two types of cold storage must be distinguished: storage in a normal atmosphere and storage in a controlled atmosphere. So the storage atmosphere in the controlled atmosphere storage room is different to that of normal atmosphere air and contains approximately 22% carbon dioxide, 4% oxygen and 74% nitrogen. So the insurance of stock in cold storage is important, for example, for owner of cold storage houses, users, tenant or cold storage houses, farms in which agriculture products are manufactured or processed, meat and fish processing industry, food preservation industry, like that. So the sum insured under this policy shall be for annual policy is the value of the stock obtained by multiplying the full storage capacity of the cold storage by the average price of the potatoes at the time of loading as determined by the insured with the occurrence of the company. At the time this insurance has come into effect, this price shall include storage charges for the whole season. And for policies issued for periods less than 12 months, value of stock obtained by multiplying the full storage capacity of maximum number of chambers and that are likely to be used during the entire period by the average price of the potatoes at the time of loading as determined by the insured with the concurrence of the company. At the time this insurance has come into effect, the price shall include storage charges for the whole season. So for this purpose, the storage capacity of the cold storage shall be determined on the basis that 10 quintals of potatoes can be stored for 100 cubic feet of space inside the chamber. Thank you very much.